Welcome to the deep dive, where we really try to dig into those stories you maybe didn't even know you needed. And today, we're going somewhere that sounds, well, idyllic, right? Mairangi Bay.
Oh, absolutely. Picture perfect coastal town in Auckland, New Zealand. You think gentle waves, salty air. Just calm.
Exactly. You think sand in your shoes, maybe seagulls being a bit cheeky. That's the biggest problem you're going to face. A really lovely scene.
That's about the extent of the drama you'd expect, yeah. Lost car keys, maybe. Someone's ice cream getting pinched by a gull. You definitely don't expect a highly organized crime wave.
And yet,
Yeah.
that's exactly what seems to have happened in this, deceptively peaceful spot. It's not just some minor annoyance either. We're talking about a pretty intricate criminal enterprise run by one individual.
A single perpetrator causing quite a stir.
And the mastermind, get this, is a 15-month-old cat who has, I have to say, the most distinguished name, Leonardo da Pinchy.
Leonardo da Pinchy. It's
Yeah.
fantastic, isn't it? He just paints a picture of, Renaissance genius, right?
Yeah.
Precision artistry.
Totally.
Gravitas.
Exactly, gravitas. And then you find out this distinguished figure is, basically a serial laundry thief. The irony is just, it's perfect. It sets the whole thing up beautifully.
It really does. So, okay, our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the weeds on this. The curious case of Leonardo da Pinchy. We want to unpack his unique methods, his criminal style, if you will.
His M.O.
Right. And how the humans involved reacted first bewildered, then amazingly kind of proud. And what does it all tell us about, cat psychology, maybe community spirit, even how we think about property?
It's so much more than just a funny cat story, isn't it? It really
Yeah.
touches on how animals and humans interact in these unexpected, sometimes baffling, sometimes hilarious ways, especially around our stuff, our belongings.
Definitely. And we're lucky because we've got quite a bit to go on firsthand accounts, observations from the owner, the neighbors. It gives us a real shortcut into understanding this whole bizarre phenomenon. Yeah, it's a great set of sources. It lets us see Leo not just as a mischievous pet, but as this catalyst for some really interesting social dynamics. And maybe even a bit of a local legend in the making.
Okay, so let's set the scene for this crime spree. We're back in Mairangi Bay, quiet place, beach town, probably the last place you'd expect regular criminal activity.
Absolutely. You picture maybe a nice sunset, someone catching a good wave.
Yeah.
That's the excitement.
Instead, it's become the hunting ground for Leo, unleashing what people there are calling, with maybe a hint of affection, I don't know, the terror.
It's such a great contrast, isn't it? This really calm, predictable backdrop, and then suddenly these stealthy little missions happening under everyone's noses.
It shows how, even in the quietest places, something completely weird can just pop up and change the whole vibe.
And disrupt things in a way that's, inconvenient, but also kind of charming, weirdly enough.
And right at the center of it all is Leonardo da Pinchy, the notorious local criminal, the one being crime wave. It sounds like overkill for a cat, but honestly, wait till you hear the details.
It's the specifics that really make it, I think.
Totally. It's not just that he steals, it's what he steals. Underwear and other laundry, just gone.
Right, that's the peculiar target.
And his methods, okay, so raiding clotheslines, that's one thing. You can almost picture that, right? Bit of climbing, bit of pulling.
Yeah, classic cat agility involved there.
But then, get this, he also just walks into people's houses, strolls right in, and takes stuff directly from bedrooms. That's next level, isn't it?
That really is. That detail, entering the house, specifically the bedroom, that moves it way beyond just grabbing something blowing in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests planning, observation, yes, intent, and maybe even a bit of feline problem solving. To figure out how to get in, find the target in a very personal space, the bedroom, and then get out with it. That's complex behavior. It's not just instinct. He seems to understand, this is a human space, maybe even off limits, and he's going for it anyway.
He's literally a cat burglar. But the thing is, he's not just grabbing any old thing. His owner, Helen North, she says he has incredibly expensive tastes.
Ah, yes. The discerning palate. This is crucial. It's not just kleptomania, like an obsession with any object. He's selective.
Very selective. It suggests he has preferences, maybe based on texture, or maybe he's just got a real eye for quality, a connoisseur cat.
He's not just a thief. He's a curator of stolen goods.
Exactly. And the examples are amazing, like silk boxer shorts, pure silk.
Not just cotton basics, luxury items.
Right. Then thick woolwork socks. And often, this is the bit I love, often still with the clothespins attached.
Which tells you something about the speed, doesn't it? It's a snatch and grab. Quick extraction. He's not messing about.
No time for finesse, just get the goods. And then the absolute highlight, the pièce de résistance. A brand new cashmere sweater worth 300 New Zealand dollars.
Wow, that's significant, both in value and, you can imagine, texture. Cashmere must feel amazing to a cat.
Oh, totally. You can just picture him dragging it home, so proud.
And the volume. It's not just occasional thefts. One day, apparently, he brought home 9 separate items. 9.
9 things in one day. Someone apparently joked it was enough for a whole outfit, if you didn't mind, like a weird mix of men's socks and maybe some baby clothes.
It speaks to this relentless drive, doesn't it? He's prolific.
So it really makes you wonder, is it just about the feel? You know, cats love textures, silk, wool, cashmere. They must be incredibly appealing.
Texture and scent are huge for cats, absolutely. That human scent on clothes, the softness, it's all very attractive. Sensory exploration is key for them.
Or is it something more? Is he genuinely a textile acquisition specialist, a curator? Is he building some kind of bizarre high-fashion nest back at Alan's place?
Well, that's the fascinating question, isn't it? It could be partly sensory, sure, but the pattern, the selectivity, the sheer effort involved, it points to something more complex. Maybe he is building the world's most luxurious nest. Or maybe it's a really sophisticated form of play.
Like hunting.
Exactly. The clothes are the prey, the thrills in the hunt, the capture, the successful delivery of the trophy back home. And maybe, just maybe, there's an element of transgression. The fact that these things belong to someone else, that they're maybe forbidden, could actually add to the appeal.
So the naughtiness is part of the fun.
It could be. It suggests a certain level of awareness, maybe not morality as we know it, but awareness of boundaries and a drive to push them. He's clearly got a strong need for novelty, comfort, and it seems a bit of rule breaking.
It's wild. Can you imagine, you listening, imagine your favorite, most expensive scarf just vanishes, and then you find out the neighborhood cat is wearing it or, hoarding it.
The mix of annoyance and maybe, just maybe, a tiny bit of flattery. Your stuff was good enough for Leo.
Right. It's quite the scenario. Okay, let's talk about the human side of this because it's just as fascinating. We have to talk about Helen North, Leo's owner. And as you'd expect, she is apparently completely mortified.
Oh, I bet. It's not exactly something you put on your CV, is it? Managed Feline Kleptomaniac Stolen Goods Return Program.
Right. She's gone from just being a pet owner to being like a full-time crisis manager for a cat. She actually described keeping up with his thievery as a lot of admin.
Which has to be the understatement of the century. Think about
No.
it. You've got to collect the stolen items, figure out who they belong to. How do you even do that reliably? And then you have the incredibly awkward task of returning them.
Especially when the items are, personal.
Exactly. It's this constant tightrope walk between being responsible for your pet, feeling deeply embarrassed, and maybe, just maybe, having a little laugh about it yourself sometimes. It's a huge burden.
And her method for returning the stuff is just brilliant out of sheer necessity. She posts pictures of the loot on the neighborhood WhatsApp group and the local Facebook page.
No way. Seriously.
Seriously. With messages like, "Are these your undies?" Just blunt. Direct. Mortified, but direct.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine scrolling through Facebook? Pictures of kids, holiday snaps, someone selling an old bike, and then, bam, a photo of some socks and boxers with the caption, "Leo's been busy again. Anyone missing these?"
It's public shaming via Lost and Found. You're basically outing yourself as the owner of the local cat burglar, the fence for a feline crime lord. It must be excruciatingly awkward.
It totally redefines neighborly chat, doesn't it? You're navigating this incredibly delicate social situation, trying to do the right thing, return the property, while also managing the sheer embarrassment of it all. Kudos to her for actually doing it, though. That takes guts.
It really does. But here's the kicker. The truly mind-blowing part. How do the neighbors react? You'd think they'd be furious, right? Forming vigilante groups demanding Leo be kept indoors.
You would absolutely expect frustration. Maybe some passive-aggressive notes left out.
But no. The sources say quite clearly they are not angry. They think he's amazing.
Amazing. Not annoyed.
Amazing. Helen even says some of them are quite put out that he hasn't actually stolen anything of theirs. Like, they feel left out.
Get out of here. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So being robbed by Leo has become a status symbol.
Apparently so. It's like if Leo steals your stuff, It means your laundry is good enough for his high standards. Your socks have been deemed worthy by the master.
Wow, that's a psychological twist I did not see coming. Leo has inadvertently become this weird kind of social glue.
Totally. He's not dividing the community. He's uniting them in this shared, absurd experience. They have a common story, a common antagonist, or maybe anti-hero.
He's the local mascot, but with a criminal record. It shows how shared experiences, even slightly negative or inconvenient ones, can build connection. People love a good story, especially a quirky local one.
And there's this one story about a neighbor who's actually allergic to cats. Poor woman.
Oh dear. So Leo visiting her would be problematic.
Right, so she's one of his regular targets, apparently, or was, and now she has to dry all her clothes indoors just to avoid him. But she doesn't see it as a pain. She calls it a blessing.
A blessing. They have to dry laundry indoors because of a thieving cat.
Yep. She feels like she's part of the narrative. She's one of the chosen ones. It's like she's got this special connection to the local celebrity.
That is just extraordinary.
Mhm.
It speaks volumes about the human need to belong, to be part of something unique, even if that something is being targeted by a cat with expensive taste. He's turned a nuisance into an exclusive club.
He really has. It makes you think about how communities form identity, doesn't it? Sometimes it's not the planned events, the bake sales, or the meetings.
It's the unexpected curveballs,
Mhm.
the shared jokes, the local legends. Leo, in his own weird way, has probably done more for community engagement in Mairangi Bay than any official initiative ever could.
Yeah.
He gets people talking, laughing, sharing something completely unique to them.
It's true. It makes you think, about your own neighborhood or town. Are there any local legends like that? Quirky characters, animal or human, who everyone knows and talks about, who kind of define the place in a weird way. These figures really add texture to life, don't they?
Right. Let's try and get inside Leo's head a bit more. What's really driving him? Because his owner, Helen, she has some interesting theories based on watching him closely.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's her take?
She's convinced he knows he's doing something he shouldn't. That's a direct quote.
He knows. That's a big claim for a cat. How does she reckon she knows that?
Well, her observation is that he runs when he's got stuff, he grabs the goods, and he bolts, like he's expecting to be chased or told off.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. The getaway. It suggests he's learned an association right. Taking the thing equals potential trouble or pursuit.
Exactly. Which led her to conclude that he's basically an adrenaline junkie. It's not necessarily about the socks or the sweater themselves. It's about the thrill of the heist, the chase, the risk. That's the reward. That's a really plausible theory from a behavioral standpoint. Play, especially predatory play in cats, often involves that chase and capture sequence. If he perceives the stealing as part of that sequence, and maybe anticipates a human reaction, even a negative one, like being shooed away, that could be inherently exciting or rewarding for him, it becomes a high-stakes game.
I'm just picturing him now like the Tom Cruise of cats, Mission Impossible. Sliding under laser grids. Okay, maybe just Garden Fence is feeling the rush. Maybe he thinks he's got a tiny earpiece in.
Light chuckle.
Hmm.
It's a great image. And it captures that sense of deliberate action, doesn't it? This isn't just idle batting at things. It seems like a focused activity that gives him some kind of internal buzz, whether it's the successful hunt, the attention, or just the sheer satisfaction of pulling it off. It's clearly motivating him.
It definitely shows some complex thinking going on there, or complex motivations anyway.
Absolutely. Animal cognition is fascinating, and sometimes it manifests in these really quite funny, but ultimately complex ways, like high-end laundry theft.
And here's where it gets even more interesting, and kind of supports that adrenaline junkie idea, but maybe hints at something else too. They tried to stop him, obviously.
You'd have to, right?
Yeah. So keeping him inside, well, that didn't really stick, or wasn't practical long-term maybe, but then they tried something clever. They left clothes out for him to steal. At home.
Oh, okay. Like sanctioned items. Trying to satisfy the urge without the neighborly conflict.
Exactly. Give him his own little pile of socks and things to steal legitimately, and guess what?
Let me guess. He wasn't interested.
Not remotely. Turned his nose up at it, which led Helen to this really insightful conclusion. He only wants stuff that he shouldn't have.
Wow. Okay. That changes things, doesn't it? That really points towards the forbidden aspect being the key motivator.
It's not just the thrill of the chase, it's the thrill of the forbidden, the transgression itself.
That taps into that whole forbidden fruit idea, which we see in lots of species, including humans. An object or action becomes instantly more desirable simply because it's off limits. If Leo only wants what he shouldn't have, then he's rejecting the easy option. He's almost making a statement, isn't he?
A philosophical statement from a cat.
Well, maybe not consciously, but his behavior is, in effect, challenging the whole concept of ownership and permission. He's like a free little anarchist asking, why is this your sock and not mine? Especially if I can take it. It's probably not about the sock's inherent value anymore, but the value derived from the act of illicit acquisition.
So he's not just an adrenaline junkie, he's a philosophical rebel, an existentialist cat pondering the arbitrary nature of property laws while dragging home a pair of boxers.
It's certainly a more complex picture than just cat-like soft things. It suggests the act of stealing, the challenge, the rule-breaking is the primary reward. That's a pretty sophisticated driver for behavior.
It really is. And it leads to this other concern Helen has, which is both hilarious and kind of understandable. She is now refusing to get another cat.
Oh, why is that? Worried about doubling the laundry returns admin?
Partly, maybe. But her main reason is, and I quote, he might teach another cat to do this.
Oh my God. She's worried about him becoming a Fagin figure, creating a little gang of feline thieves.
Basically, yes. She is envisioning a Leonardo da Pinchy crime dynasty, an academy for criminally gifted kittens specializing in sock snatching and panty pilfering.
You know, it sounds funny, but there's actually a grain of truth there from a scientific perspective. Social learning is a real thing in animals. Cats can learn by observing and imitating each other.
So she's not totally crazy to worry.
Not entirely. Well, maybe not a full-blown academy. It's certainly possible that another cat, especially a younger one, could pick up on Leo's successful strategies and start mimicking his behavior. If Leo gets rewarded for his heists, with thrills, attention, whatever, another cat might see that and think, hey, I want in on that action. So her concern about a criminal empire, while amusing, isn't completely outside the realm of possibility in terms of animal behavior.
That's slightly terrifying. So, if you've ever had one pet teach another a bad habit, like how to raid the bin or beg at the table.
Oh, yeah, that definitely happens.
Then you can probably understand Helen's fear of unleashing Leo's influence on an impressionable apprentice. Leonardo da Pinchy finishing school for felons. It's quite the thought. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on Leo himself, this amazing cat. But his behavior is so out there. It does make you wonder, is there something in the water in Mairangi Bay? Or maybe something about New Zealand in general that produces these, shall we say, characters?
That's a really interesting angle,
Yeah.
because New Zealand is known for having some pretty unique and, frankly, quirky wildlife due to its long isolation.
Right. It's not just Leo. The sources mention other examples of New Zealand animals being a bit extra.
Definitely. The environment there, particularly the relative lack of native land mammals and predators before humans arrived, allowed birds and reptiles to evolve in some really distinct ways. And maybe that fosters a certain boldness or different kinds of intelligence.
Like the key parrot. They mention the kia, which isn't just quirky, it's apparently legendarily destructive.
Oh, the Kia is a classic example. Incredibly intelligent, incredibly curious mountain parrot. And yes, famously known for interacting with human stuff in ways we find problematic.
Problematic is one word for it. The sources say they're known for ripping the rubber seals off of car windows. Not just pecking at them, ripping them off.
Yeah, they'll dismantle windshield wipers, pull out loose bits on backpacks, investigate pretty much anything novel in their environment with their strong beaks. It's partly play, partly exploration, partly maybe just figuring out what's edible or interesting. But because they're smart and fearless, it often results in damage.
So they're like this feathered gang of vandals.
You could see it that way. They've evolved to be highly adaptable problem solvers in a tough environment, and now they apply those skills to, well, cars and camping gear. It's fascinating, frustrating for the car owners.
So, okay, if we're having fun with this,
Yeah.
maybe there is a bigger syndicate at play here. The keys are the demolition crew, right?
Yeah.
Softening up the targets, maybe creating distractions.
Huckle's loosening the window seal so Leo can get in easier later.
Exactly. And then Leonardo da Pinchy, the specialist, the master thief, comes in for the high-value items, the silk, the cashmere. It all fits the New Zealand animal underworld.
It's a fun thought. Though realistically, the Kia's behavior is probably more about innate curiosity and manipulating objects, whereas Leo's seems much more specific and potentially learned or driven by that forbidden fruit desire we talked about.
Okay, fair enough. Different motivations.
But your underlying point stands. New Zealand's unique ecological history does seem to breed animals that are unusually bold and interactive with the human world. That lack of fear, combined with intelligence or specific drives, can lead to these really memorable, quirky encounters. It definitely sets the stage for a character like Leo to emerge and thrive.
And it's not just the birds. They also mention the tuatara, which is just, wow, a reptile that's basically called a living dinosaur.
It really is an incredible creature. Not technically a dinosaur, but its lineage is incredibly ancient, splitting off from lizards and snakes hundreds of millions of years ago. They're unique to New Zealand.
And it has a third eye.
Yeah.
On its head.
It does. A parietal eye right on top of its head. It's covered by scales in adults, but it's light sensitive, especially in young ones, and likely helps regulate daily and seasonal cycles. It's just another example of the unique evolutionary paths taken by life in New Zealand.
A living dinosaur with a third eye, parrots that dismantle cars, and a cat burglar with a taste for cashmere. It really is a remarkable place for wildlife.
It absolutely is. It reminds us that evolution can produce incredible diversity, and sometimes behaviors or features that seem almost fantastical. Leo's specific brand of mischief might be unique to him, but he exists within this broader context of really unusual and fascinating New Zealand fauna.
It definitely makes you look twice at the animals around you, wherever you are, doesn't it? You start wondering about their secret lives, their motivations. That squirrel burying nuts, is he just stocking up, or is he planning some elaborate heist of the bird feeder later?
You never know. There are always more mysteries in the natural world, even in our own backyards, if we just take the time to look. Hashtag tag outro.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've peered into the quiet life of Mairangi Bay and found it's presided over by a furry menace with impeccable taste, Leonardo da Pinchy.
The beloved cat burglar, who somehow managed to turn petty theft into a community-building exercise.
It's quite the story. He's united the neighborhood through a shared love of, well, a shared experience involving their laundry anyway.
Exactly. Well, what could have been a real source of friction has become this bizarrely positive thing. He's more than a pet. He's a local legend, a social lubricant. He gets people talking, laughing, connecting over this shared absurdity.
Honestly, you could argue he's done more for community spirit than any number of planned events probably could have, all through the power of stealing socks.
The power of narrative, isn't it? He's given them an amazing, unique story to tell.
And meanwhile, poor Helen North is still on duty, running the world's weirdest lost and found, still hoping that maybe, just maybe, Leo will eventually grow out of it.
The eternal hope of the owner of a mischievous pet. But with Leo, you do wonder, don't you?
You really do. And that leads to the truly delightful, slightly terrifying final thought. What if he doesn't grow out of it?
What if this is just the beginning?
Exactly. Picture it. 15 years down the line, Helen's still posting on Facebook, but the items are getting weirder, more ambitious.
Okay, paint me a picture.
Hi, everyone. Leo's home. He's brought what appears to be a single rhinestone-studded tube top. And is that a unicycle? Anyone missing a rhinestone tube top and/or a unicycle? Please advise. Also accepting tips on how to gently disarm a cat currently attempting to ride said unicycle across the lawn.
Chuckles. That's brilliant. And terrifyingly plausible given his track record. The legend just grows and grows.
The escalating adventures of Leonardo da Pinchy, forever baffling and uniting Mairangi Bay.
It's a wonderful reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
That sometimes the oddest things, the little challenges and quirks, are what actually bring us together and create the stories we remember and share for years.
Absolutely. And on that image of Leo potentially mastering the unicycle, that's all from us on this deep dive. We hope this tale of feline felony and unexpected community spirit gave you something fun and maybe even a little profound to think about.
Look out for the hidden stories and the unlikely heroes in your own world. You never know where you'll find them. Until next time.